Hey everybody, Diesel from Imagineyourgoddess here, bringing you a new deck profile. I know that we have a couple Magus builds on here, but you guys have yet to see mine, so here is the pure Magus build from Imagineyourgoddess. Alright guys, I start with Supple Bamboo Princess Kaguya. Now, a lot of people have been asking me why I chose Kaguya over Eclair, over Lulu, which some people play quite religiously. I play Kaguya because she creates a 16k column with Quarry Magus, the 12k attacker, and you can put her into Soul and give Quarry Magus a chance to be a 21k attacker with a 7k booster. Those kind of numbers you can't ignore. 16 constantly, 21 constantly, that's why I run her. But a lot of people have been enjoying Eclair. I do not blame them, just not my thing. Okay, let's get into triggers. 4 copies of heals. We know why we run heals. I run the Magus heal because I like hitting Magus counterblasts. 4 copies of Battle Sister Ginger and 4 copies of Psychic Bird. 8 crits. 4 copies of each for consistency's sake. You can run Nikkei instead of Ginger if you like. Just personal preference. 4 copies of Miracle Kid, the draw trigger. I run him because he's a mouse. You can run any draw trigger you like. That is pretty much the trigger lineup. I mean, it's highly aggressive. It plays the way I need it to play when I need it to play that way. If you like 7 and 5, you can give it a shot, but overall, consistency is better for this deck because it allows you to call names of things without having to memorize every single card in your deck. It's like, I know I run 4 Gingers. How many have I seen? 2, maybe don't call that card. Psychic Bird, haven't seen any, let's call it, why not? So that's why I run what I run. Let's go into grade 1s. 4 copies of the Perfect Shield with Magus in the name. That makes sense. 4 copies of my favorite Magus, Circle Magus. Circle Magus is my favorite Magus because even though she doesn't allow you to change the card that's on top of your deck, she at least lets you see it. What she does is when she's placed on Vanguard or Rearguard, you get to look at the top card of your deck and put it back on top of your deck. It gives you a lot of chances to plan whether or not you're going to use an ability, whether or not you're going to reveal something to your opponent, and in general it's just a really good offensive card. The 7k booster never goes bad in this format, so that's what we run.
He's a real woman.
Oh yeah, and that too. 3 copies of Rippus Magus are next. The reason why I run 3 of those is because I run 3 copies of Crescent Magus. Okay? Now I know I just said something about consistency, but hear me out real quick. Rippus is a 10k attacker, and Crescent Magus lets you try to call the top card of your deck and then reveal it. If you're right, she becomes a 9k booster for anyone. Now, normally I would say run 4 copies of the 10k attacker and then only run 2 extra grade 2s, whatever, or grade 1s, whatever they happen to be. In this particular case, I run 3 and 3 because you want Crescent Magus to be boosting someone. In particular, you want her to be boosting Quarry Magus, the 12k attacker. Because if she's boosting that and you are calling things right all the time, you're getting a constant 21k attacker. That number is great. Other than that, Rippus is okay, but she's not dire. The deck already has a lot of power in its rear guards, so I squiffed the numbers a little bit. And overall, it's been successful for me. So you can try 4 and 2 if you like. I run 3 and 3. Next up is the grade 2s. I run 3 copies of Quarry Magus. In this case, I'm running 3 copies of Quarry, which is the 12k attacker, and 4 copies of Briolette, which, as an activated ability when she's a rear guard, you can Soul Blast 1, draw a card, and put her on top of your deck. I don't use Briolette's effect very often, so this setup is kind of iffy. You could run 4 Quarry and run 3 Briolette, or you can run 4 Briolette and run 3 Quarry. In the end, it just boiled down to which effect do I want to happen when the chips are down, and usually for me that is the be able to know what the top card of my deck is, even if it might mess up the trigger ratio a little bit. So that's what I do. Then I run 4 copies of Stellar Magus. Stellar Magus is the first guessing card that you get that gives you some real benefit. When you attack, you get to counterblast, and you can call a card from the top of your deck. If you look at that card and it is the card that you tried to call, you get to put it in your hand. If it's not, you get to flip a damage face up. Now, it's not just the damage that you flipped, you get to flip any damage face up. So, if you've got 2 Miracle Kids in the discard pile, and you've got 2 Maguses, one which has been flipped for Stellar's ability before, then you can flip for Stellar's ability and call something you know is not it, so that you can flip a Magus back up.
Overlord the end.
Yeah, you could call that. Why not? And you know, a lot of people haven't been thinking about that, but you don't have to call a card that could be in your deck at all. I actually really like that. But you do get to call a Magus. You could flip a Magus face up again, so that later when you use Magus special counterblasts, you have Maguses to special counterblast. Okay. Also, you can call a card that you know is on top to try to thin your deck a little bit, or call a card and just see if it's on top in an effort to either thin your deck or just know what's happening, so that you can have a better success with your grade 3s or whatnot. She is a great card. Run 4 copies of her regardless. Okay. Finally, grade 3s. Our pièce de résistance here has to do with hexagonal and pentagonal Magus. Okay? Hexagonal Magus is the break ride. When you break ride, she allows you to look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Take one of those cards into your hand, put the other 2 on top of the deck in any order, and then she gets her plus 10k. Okay? Her other ability is that when she attacks, if you have 4 or more cards in the soul, or 4 or more cards in your hand, she gets plus 2k, making her a 13k attacker. She, in front of a Crescent Magus, can give you one of those 21k columns I was talking about. Very nice and very useful. Her break ride is insane, because it not only adds hand advantage, but allows you to make plans for the twin drive that's about to come up. That means telling your opponent what's going on, but it also means giving you an opportunity to change the way drives are set up, which I cannot tell you the number of times I've switched a Miracle Kid with a crit trigger so that I could hit both triggers. And it also gives you a chance to call names for powers and effects, like when you break ride with Pentagonal Magus. Pentagonal Magus's limit break is that when she attacks a Vanguard, you call a card. Or you recite a card. I should stop saying call, since that's one of our abilities in the game. But you name a card. You look at the top card, and if it is that card, she gets plus 5,000 and plus 1 crit for the rest of the turn, for the rest of the battle. She can also has an activated ability, counterblast 2 Maguses, give her plus 5k until end of turn. She is amazing when she's broken over hexagonal, because you know you're going to get her effect. You're already dealing with plus 15 and an additional crit. It leaves a lot for your opponent to overcome. The only downside at that point is if you've been running Crescent Magus as your booster, you're set nicely against 10k Vanguards to hit another magic number, but you're 1 shy to hit the magic number again against a 11k Vanguard. And don't get me started on cross rides. So, she's good. She does work. I really encourage the 4 and 4 as opposed to any less of either one, because the consistency up of getting these 2 on the field is just, it's too good. It's too good to imagine. And that's pretty much my build. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys try it for a little bit. You can leave me any comments that you like, obviously. Don't forget to subscribe, like, whatever. Post to the face prints. What else we got? Tweeters. Whatever you need. We've already put up a game for this, so I hope that you go and check that out so you can see how this deck works. The upsides of this deck, lots of consistency, lots of planning, and if you're smart, it'll work out for you a lot. The downsides are if your opponent is smart, they can use it to their advantage as well, which you'll see in the game if you go and watch. Have a good one, guys. We'll talk to you soon.